After the Apollo astronauts returned to Earth in 1969, NASA discovered a strange phenomenon. These people started talking nonsense. Some said that nations are lies fabricated by humanity. Others claimed that war is a cosmic-level joke. Edgar Mitchell even said that we don't live on the Earth, but inside the Earth. NASA panicked, thinking they had been brainwashed by aliens. Even more frightening, this condition seemed to be contagious. All it takes is looking at that photo, the panoramic shot of Earth taken from the moon, and you start to feel something's off. Why would just one glance at Earth be enough to ruin an astronaut? In 1965, the moment Leonov opened the hatch, he was completely stunned. What he saw wasn't Earth, it was a blue glass sphere suspended in darkness. The borders were gone, the Great Wall was invisible, and while billions of people were fighting over territory, from here, those boundary lines simply didn't exist. Even more terrifying, he suddenly realized that the thin layer of atmosphere surrounding this sphere was as fragile as an eggshell, easily pierced. 7 billion people, all doomed. Why can a single photograph shatter a person's worldview? Psychologists have studied this for 50 years and discovered a bug in the human brain. When you first see Earth suspended in the void, your sense of boundaries instantly collapses. This phenomenon has a name. It's called the overview effect.
When I climbed to the middle of the path, I couldn't help but look down. I felt like it was especially dark all around me. I just wanted to see what was around me, what was beneath my feet, so I absent-mindedly looked down. Wow. Hey, it was a bottomless darkness. I felt like even the phrase an abyss of 10,000 fathoms wasn't enough to describe it.
It will permanently rewire your brain, but what's even stranger comes next. Neuroscientists speculate that this kind of experience could have a profound impact on astronauts' brains. It's like your computer being forced to refresh its operating system. There's a region in your brain specifically responsible for processing the concepts of self and boundaries, like whether you're Chinese or American, or where your home is. Which group do you belong to? But when you see the Earth floating in darkness from 320 kilometers above, that region of your brain short-circuits instantly. Psychologists call this phenomenon a complete cognitive restructuring. In plain terms, it means your worldview gets shattered. Then it gets reassembled in a completely new way that you can't control. The problem is, this process is irreversible, like shattering a mirror. Even if you glue the pieces back together, the cracks will always remain. What's even more striking is that this change isn't gradual, but happens in an instant. It's like a heavy hammer striking directly at your soul. Research institutions have conducted in-depth interviews with hundreds of astronauts. The results were astonishing. The vast majority admitted that in the first few months after returning to Earth, they felt like aliens. One astronaut described it this way: "I sat at the dinner table watching my family argue over who should do the dishes. Suddenly, it all seemed so absurd and laughable to me. I had just come back from space. I had seen the entire Earth suspended in the void, and here they were arguing about doing the dishes. This isn't being melodramatic, it's a real psychological trauma. Do you know what's the scariest part? The overview effect has a hidden side effect. It can give you a sense of cosmic-level loneliness. Because you've seen a truth that the vast majority of people on Earth will never see. You return to the world carrying this secret, only to realize you can't explain it to anyone. You say that national borders are just a fiction. Others think you're too naive. You say the Earth is so fragile it breaks your heart, and others think you're just spreading anxiety. You become an outsider who knows the truth, never able to go back. Buzz Aldrin's story is even more brutal. As the second person to set foot on the moon, he fell into deep depression after returning to Earth, drinking heavily, divorcing, and even contemplating suicide. The media speculated about this hero, who once stood at the pinnacle of humanity. Why did he fall so hard? It wasn't until 2016, in his autobiography, that he revealed the truth. "The moment I saw the Earth from the moon, I knew I could never go back. Not that I couldn't return to Earth, but that the Earth could never return to the way it was before." He described that moment. When you stand on the desolate surface of the moon, surrounded by absolute darkness and absolute silence, and then look up to see the Earth hanging there, not suspended in the sky, but floating in the void, like a blue droplet surrounded by darkness, as if it could be swallowed up at any moment. In that moment, you come to understand a harsh truth. All the glory of human civilization, all the wars, love and hatred have all taken place on that tiny, fragile speck of dust floating in endless darkness, and the universe simply doesn't care. What's even more terrifying is that after returning to Earth, you find you can no longer take those things that once seemed important seriously. Your boss makes grand promises, talks about promotions and raises. What you're thinking is, I've seen the whole Earth, and now you're talking to me about countries going to war over borders, when deep down, you know that line doesn't even exist. It's like you've beaten the game of life ahead of time, seen the final ending, and then been forced to return to the beginner's village. Can you really stay excited about playing with those players who are still fighting tooth and nail over a carrot or two cabbages? On February 7, 1984, Bruce McCandless did something even crazier. He let go of the Challenger space shuttle and became the first person to walk in space without a tether. No ropes, no connections, just a 110-kilogram jetpack on his back. If that thing malfunctioned, no one could save him. He would become the first human satellite in the solar system, orbiting the Earth forever. He would keep drifting until his oxygen ran out. The engineers at ground control held their breath the entire time. But what was even more terrifying than the danger to his life was the experience itself. Behind him was an abyss that could swallow everything. Below his feet, 320 kilometers away, was Earth, with nothing in between. Bruce later said that those 90 minutes were the loneliest moments of his life. It wasn't a physical loneliness, but an existential one. You suddenly realize that everything you've ever cared about in your life, your house, your car, your job, your enemies, all of it is on that tiny speck of light beneath your feet, and the universe simply doesn't care. He returned to the cabin, and the first thing he said after taking off his helmet left everyone in silence. I finally understand. We really are nothing. This wasn't humility, but a kind of awakening of awareness. When you are truly exposed to the boundless universe, your brain triggers a hidden switch. Once this switch is activated, you can never go back to the way you were before. But do you think this is just an exclusive experience for astronauts of the last century? Wrong. This effect is still happening in the 21st century, and it's becoming more and more frequent. In 2021, 90-year-old William Shatner, yes, the old actor who played the captain in Star Trek, rode a rocket into space. He originally thought this would be a moment to celebrate the pinnacle of his life, but when he came back down, he was a changed man. In public, he cried and said, "What I felt wasn't excitement but an overwhelming sadness. I saw the fragility of Earth, the brevity of life, and that feeling was terrifying." An old actor who had performed in front of the camera for 50 years was brought to his knees by a 4-minute space journey. What does this tell us? It shows that the overview effect is not a superstition. It's not a psychological suggestion, but a real psychological phenomenon that can be repeatedly verified. Retired astronaut Chris Cassidy revealed an even more shocking detail in an interview. He personally witnessed raging wildfires in the Amazon rainforest from space. In that moment, he realized just how real the threat of climate change is. When you look down at Earth from 300 kilometers above, you see truths that are invisible from the ground. Michael Collins of Apollo 11 once said something even bolder. If world leaders from every country could experience the overview effect in space, many thorny political disagreements might cease to exist. Because once you enter space, that once all-important sense of national and ethnic identity gradually fades away, replaced by a sense of belonging to humanity as a whole, a profound feeling of being deeply connected to all humankind. The noisy disputes suddenly become calm. You come to realize that we are all on the same spaceship in the universe. But here lies a paradox. If the overview effect is so powerful, why does NASA deliberately downplay it? Why do astronauts rarely mention this experience in public? The answer is rather harsh, because their duty requires them to always project strength. If they show fear, sadness, or doubt, these emotions are seen by the public as weakness, making it difficult for them to be assigned to future missions. More importantly, if the public were to learn that going to space could cause this kind of irreversible psychological trauma, it might cause the entire space program to lose support. On February 14, 1990, Voyager 1 took that famous photograph from 6.4 billion kilometers away from Earth. In the photo, the pale blue dot, Earth, is just a tiny speck of light suspended in the vast darkness of the universe. After seeing this photo, the writer Carl Sagan wrote that every person on Earth, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you've ever heard of has lived out their entire life on that tiny dot. All the glory and suffering of our species, thousands of religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and thief, hero and coward, creator and destroyer of civilization, king and peasant, young lovers, hopeful children, all of them are here, suspended on a mote of dust in a sunbeam. These words strike at the very heart of the overview effect. When you truly see humanity's place in the universe, you experience two contradictory emotions at the same time. On one hand, you feel a sacred sense of the shared destiny of humanity, realizing that all our conflicts are meaningless. On the other hand, you also experience an unprecedented sense of emptiness and loneliness, precisely because Earth is so fragile. It is exactly because humanity is so small that we should cherish this blue planet and value one another even more. Perhaps the next time you find yourself anxious, arguing, or angry over something trivial, you can picture that scene. From 6.4 billion kilometers away in the darkness, Earth is just a faint speck of light, and everything you care about is on that tiny dot. This thought won't make your problems disappear, but it might help you look at what truly matters from a different perspective. This is the final gift the overview effect leaves us, not despair, but clarity.